let's go right to Hunter Biden. So I guess the new MO is we arrest people and put them in jail, which I guess we're doing that now. And pretty amazing that 1 week after they tried to do it with the president, or in the process of doing it with the president, here it is now with the president's son. What is this case about with Hunter Biden?
Well, at its most basic, it's about violations regarding answers on an ATF form, and what that form does. That form is really the first step, Mike, of a national instant criminal background check system check, which is a NICS check, and the FBI performs that check, but they do that after an ATF form 4473 has been filled out. And if you buy a gun at retail, that form 4473 asks you some basic questions. Are you the actual buyer of the firearm? There are only two answers to that. You can say yes or no. All right. And then there's a question on there that says, are you addicted to or a user of, and, it's controlled substances, illegal substances, so on and so forth. Only two answers, yes or no. And so what they are alleging is that Hunter gave a false answer there, saying no when the answer should have been yes. But if he had said yes, he would have been barred from buying the firearm. So the allegation is that he hid drug use in order to acquire a firearm. And so that's really what's at the heart of what we're dealing with. And then once he had the firearm, he had it illegally, because lying on Form 4473 means you acquired it illegally, and that's the allegation. So, everything compounded on him after that. So that's what is at the heart of this case.
Yep, here it is, 11E. Are you an unlawful user of or addicted to marijuana or any depressant, stimulant, narcotic drug, or any other controlled substance? And then there's a part in bold. It says, warning, the use or possession of marijuana remains unlawful under federal law regardless of whether it's been legalized or decriminalized for medical or recreational purposes in the state where you reside. So even marijuana. So you're saying you can't buy a gun if you use marijuana. Is that right?
Oh, that's true, yeah. I have friends, good friends, who are in the military, and they'll get a medicinal card for marijuana, and they say they have that medicinal card for PTSD. And I'm not saying that in a way I didn't mean that in a way to say I question them, but I'll say to them, I say, I want you to understand something. Don't get that stupid card, because if they pull you over and they know, if they have it hooked to your license that you have that medicinal card, if they find a firearm in your car, you're in massive trouble, because you can no longer own a firearm because you're using marijuana. And people don't understand that. They think, oh, my state said I could do it. Well, maybe your state did, but it's still a federal offense, and it's the federal offense that holds the weight. And even if your state has made it legal for recreational use, you cannot smoke marijuana and have that gun with you, or you're going to be in massive trouble.
Wow. How often do they get people on that?
Quite often. I mean, I've written, Mike, through the years at Breitbart. I know Ninth Circuit decisions and other decisions where cases have gone up and appealed and appealed, people trying to get off these charges. But, they've been upheld again and again, that it is, you can't be a marijuana user and a gun owner, even if it's legal to own marijuana in your state.
Wow. Okay, so what's the proof that Hunter Biden was a user of controlled substances during this time?
Well, there are various things they're pointing to. A book, different books, I believe, perhaps a journal entry, different things. But I think it was in the book that he talked about sitting on a car, doing this drug or that drug. I can't remember exactly, but there are numerous things that they're pointing to like that. that they're calling admissions. And so they're going to try to use those to bolster the allegations, that he was using drugs at this time. And I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but the bottom line is, folks, if you fill out a Form 4473, tell the truth.
So their defense is that the terms, this is a quote, the terms user or addict are not defined on the form and were not explained to him, AWR.
Right. Well, I remember Bill Clinton told us whatever the meaning of is. So, yes, it's the same argument. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Monica Lewinsky, whatever the meaning of is. And this is I'm not saying, and I think it's important, as a writer at Breitbart, I'm using the word allegation and alleged and everything. So I'm not saying, yes, he did this. I'm saying this is what he is alleged to have done. But I am saying this. This is a classic leftist hired argument. Oh, the words weren't clear. As I say, whatever is. I'm not sure what user means. Everybody knows. It's like when people tell me they don't know what the Second Amendment means. The Second Amendment is so clear. Anybody can understand it. And when the left begins to tell me they don't understand words, then I know they're just not comfortable with what it actually says.
A quick sidebar. I don't know if I told you this story, but I went camping a couple weeks ago, and some family friends were visiting, and there was maybe the girl was 25 maybe, and her dad said, "Hey, Nancy, tell them about your new gun." And a guy said, "What do you need a gun for?" And she said, "Second Amendment." It's because I think it was perfect. It was like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Second Amendment?
Yeah, that's it. Second Amendment. That's why I need one. I need one just because I have the right to have one. And
that's it.
And I don't want to get too deep and ruin your story, because your story is wonderful. But if we lived correctly, Mike, our founders would never imagine that a father would go to dinner with his family at a restaurant in public somewhere in America without a means to protect them. I mean, our founders didn't just recognize a right to keep and bear arms, but they recognized that right carries with it a parallel duty. So every right, the right to free speech carries with it the duty to speak freely, the duty to defend freedom with our speech. It carries that duty with it. There's not just a right, there's a duty. The same thing with the Second Amendment. That girl's exactly right.
I'm a bit confused. Maybe confused is not the right word. Curious. Who's bringing these charges? The charges against the president required, as we all know, this rogue DA guy with Trump derangement syndrome in Manhattan. Who's bringing these charges against Hunter Biden if they're federal charges?
You know what? This water has changed course so many times through the course of this deal against him that I can't remember the originator of the charges. I can remember that judges split charges against him because there were tax charges and gun charges, and they were united.
Yeah.
And then the case was split so that now the gun charges are on their own. But I cannot remember, Mike, the originator of these charges.
Are you surprised that he is being charged with this crime?
Super surprised. Super surprised. Now, there is a theory, Mike, and I can't say that I hold to it, but I can't say that I reject it. I'm thinking about it. People have floated a theory that the timing of this is to show that, quit crying for Donald Trump, the left will be tough on its own as well. The problem I have with that theory is that the wheels were set in motion for this case long before that kangaroo court for Donald Trump. So that's why I have trouble going along with that theory. But deep in my heart, I'm kind of shocked that he is on trial, and will be super shocked if he's found guilty.
Okay. Well, there's the next thing. My cynical, not real question is, did the judge in this case donate money to a group called Stop Democrats, Stop Joe Biden, and donate to Donald Trump? I'm assuming not. My real question is, why are you surprised that if he'd be found guilty, and if he is found guilty, because it seems pretty slam dunk to me, what would the punishment be? What could it be?
Well, what it could be, just for the average Joe, the punishment's very clear. That same form that you read from a while ago, the ATF 4473 is the form. It states on the form that, lying on that form, you can face up to 10 years in prison. You can face fines up to $250,000.
Oh,
so
jeez.
that's quite the punishment. And if the prosecutor in this case is worth his or her weight in salt, that would be the punishment for one aspect of what is alleged, because the lying is one aspect of what is alleged, but there's also the possessing the gun illegally. That would be a completely different set of punishments and this and that. So, but we're looking at a minimum, if the average Joe was here, a minimum of up to 10 years in prison and $250,000 in fines. That's what these allegations carry. That's the punishment they carry.